Welcome back to 360 Sports. My name is Cameron Coulter. I'm your host today. We got Banning, we got Owen, we got Izzy. You know, it's March. It's getting a little warmer out. The madness is in the air. How are we feeling today, guys?
Feeling great.
Yeah, feeling great.
Yeah, the weather's bringing my life back to me back to
I
life.
think I saw spring break also 5 days away. I think it's going to be the 70s back here, at least next week. But right into this, starting with the NBA, Lakers have won 6 straight games. They beat some really good teams, including Dallas Mavericks, which the Luka trade obviously has happened. How has this duo been? We'll start with you, man.
This team has been great, especially since the break. This team has been almost perfect. They have lost 2 games to 2 very bad opponents, but since then, Luka has been great. Once he's really got it, especially last night, he was making some shots that only Luka can make, and the Lakers are in the 2nd seed now, and they're going to try to stay there.
Yeah, what I've been surprised with the most is their defense. They're the 2nd-rated defensive team over the last 15 games of this NBA season, and you wouldn't think that with a trading away a defensive player of the year candidate in Anthony Davis for liability on defense in Luka Doncic. But those guys, Gabe Vincent, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt, they've definitely stepped up in their roles, and they've been great perimeter defensive players for them.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely. I think they have a very good chance to remain at number 2. I think their biggest opponent who's like going to be competition with that is the Nuggets, but they already beat them. But coming up, they do have a lot of hard teams that are specifically more in the East Conference, which I think is really going to test how they are, because right now they're dominating in the Western. But to win the championship, you have to beat an East team. So they have the Celtics coming up, they have the Knicks, and they have Pelicans. So I think that's going to be hard. But I think now, especially with Luka, he's been warming up. He's getting more comfortable with them. So I really think that they can just go up from now. They have their dedication to their defense. I think that's what's really helping them, as somebody said. So I think they'll be able to hold off Denver and remain this number 2 spot. And I think they'll be a scary team coming into the playoffs.
Do we think LeBron and Luka together is the best duo right now?
Yes, I think so.
At least playing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, talent-wise, I don't know if they there's some duos that fit perfectly together, like Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland in that backcourt are a great duo. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, obviously, who are coming off a championship. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray. I mean, you got LeBron and Luka. LeBron being one of the greatest players of all time, and Luka being one of the greatest players of this era. It's a great duo, for sure.
I mean, for me personally, I didn't think that them two would work out this well. I mean, they are just killing it. Luka dropped 29 the other night, and LeBron is playing at an MVP caliber level, which is crazy. But moving on, this weekend, Thursday through Sunday, was the NFL Combine. I don't know if you guys watched it. I watched all of it. I love it. Give me some winners and losers of the Combine.
I think it's pretty hard to judge about the Combine, because I feel like nowadays a lot of players, they just go for the interviews, might do like the 40-yard dash, might do something else. So a lot of times I feel like it's hard because the top players are like, no, I'm too good for this. But if I had to pick a loser, and maybe this is like a little bit of a bias, but I would pick Harold Fanning Jr. He's the tight end from Bowling Green, and he was originally picked over Tyler Morin for all conference for like for the college football season. Sorry, but he just did not like perform up to what he was supposed to do. Like, I think a lot of people had despite his standout season, he didn't show like his athleticism, and his 40-yard dash time was 4.71, which is like, I mean, I couldn't run that, but
at that size, you have to be athletic, and he wasn't, so it's definitely.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about him. I mean, besides Tyler Warren, obviously, Bannon would probably be the second best tight end in the country this year. The dude's a monster, big guy too. I don't see him as a loser.
Yeah.
I
just feel like he just underperformed.
The numbers were not there, but you guys have
very weak tight end class too.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a winner. I'm going to go Nick Amenuari. He's an athletic freak. He's fast, he's physical, and he showed that at the Combine. He ran a 4.838, jumped 43 inches in the 11.6 in the broad. He even had 20 reps on the bench press, which was the highest for a safety. He was overshadowed by some star-studded defensive linemen at South Carolina, but he still had 4 picks on the year. I don't think he should have been overshadowed that much. And with this performance of the combines for athleticism, and he's an athletic monster. He's definitely pushing first round and definitely safety one in this class with Malachi Starks, I think.
Oh yeah, I think he was something I read was he was the first safety to ever have those numbers below a 4.4, above a 42-inch vert, and then above a 10.5 broad jump, which is just insane. 6'3", 220. Like the dude is a monster.
Mhm.
But you have anything?
Yeah,
there?
staying on the defensive side, I had Maxwell Hairston from Kentucky. He ran a 4.28, the fastest 40 at the combine, 39.5-inch vert, 6'1", 186. When you talk about a cornerback, this is the build. This is like perfect from top to bottom, and he solidified himself with that 40 time as a first-round talent. Every year we see cornerbacks or wide receivers come in. Whoever runs the fastest moves up in the draft boards. Guys like John Ross before, but I do think if anyone's going to outlive that, I think it's going to be Hairston. I think he actually is a very solid prospect.
Yeah, dude ran a crazy 40.
I think you can't talk about this. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're fine. Go
I
ahead.
think also a winner has to be Jackson Dart. I mean, he's like one of he did really well.
He did.
And
I
he's
don't
one
like
of the
him.
only quarterbacks that actually did something. Like
That's true. I mean,
Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, like they didn't do anything.
Ewers,
so,
I didn't. Ewers was.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's
Yeah.
a Penn State show, but can we talk about Will Howard? How bad he was. Pat McAfee
Exactly.
reported
And
he was
wasn't
throwing.
Jackson Dart wasn't bad. He was good. He performed
was.
well.
Yeah, this
He
quarterback
went through the
class.
drills and he threw, and I think he separated himself from the other top QBs.
Yeah,
so,
he's kind of. It's who's behind Shador and Cam Ward. It's
Yeah.
who is it? Ewers? Is it Milrow? Is it Dart? Is it a Leonard? Is it I don't know who else. But like whoever that third QB that could go second to third round, or maybe first. I have heard reports the Steelers are all over Dart right now.
I really
don't know about that.
like.
I don't like
any
Dart,
of
in my opinion. I do not like.
I
him.
hate Ole Miss, and like it actually
Yeah.
pains me to say this, but I do think he did good.
He did well. He was probably the most standout. But again, like you were saying, no Sanders, no Ward throwing.
I think-
Ewers threw,
yeah.
which is okay. Again, there's pro days coming up later in March, early April, and we'll see that progress. But
Yeah.
moving on, enough about the NFL Combine. We're moving into NHL, moving into playoffs soon. You guys tell me maybe a second half team that can make a push for a playoff or maybe a championship, nevertheless. Sorry, man.
I'm starting off with the Red Wings. Since December 28th, when they hired their new coach, they've had the best record in the NHL. They've also just been red hot. They're looking to end their 8-year playoff drought this year. They've converted on 39% of their power plays, which is actually the best in the league so far. And I think if there's a year for them to break that drought, this would be the year.
Yeah, I would have to go with the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're third in their division, I think, and that division is pretty close with the Maple Leafs and stuff like that. But they've won 9 straight games, and they're on a heater. Kucherov has been a star like he's always been. Hagel's having a career season for them, and Hedman's been consistently great, and he's in his 16th season. So that longevity is undoubtable. And then their goalkeeper is reverting back to his top goalkeeper form in the NHL. He's averaging a career best 2.2 goals allowed, and he's been great this season.
Yeah, I agree. The trade deadline is coming up soon, so I think a lot of things are going to get switched up at this week. So I think a lot of these things could maybe change. But I have like 2, like Florida Panthers. I think they're the defending champs.
Yeah.
I think they can make a good run. But in Four Nations, what's his name?
Matthew Tkachuk. I think.
Yeah,
Tkachuk.
I
Tkachuk.
think
He's got
out for the
hurt.
season.
He's out for the
Yeah.
season. So that's gonna be a hard loss. But I think a sneaky team that could maybe sneak their way into the playoffs and do good. They're not sneaky because they're good, but Minnesota Wild, they perform very well against top teams in the NHL, and they also have the best goaltending stats in the league, which I think you need a good goalie to win games, obviously. So I think they could perform well at the end of the season and make a good run for themselves.
Yeah, I said the Avs. They're my favorite team. I started just getting into hockey at the Four Nations. That was my first, but
That's my dad. Yeah.
yeah, I've been watching that. I've been watching the Avalanche. They're 35-24. They won 2 in a row. They're kind of sitting in the middle of the Western Conference, and I think they can make a push. Obviously, champs 2 years ago, but I think they will make a push for the playoffs, and I think they have a good shot. They have a lot of veterans, experience, and I think they do have a good shot.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on to our board segment, it's March. I said it in the opening. It's March, that means it's the madness. So we're going to the board. We'll have Izzy first, and and then Banning, then me. We're doing, what's your favorite March Madness moment? I think we're trying out something new with videos today. So Izzy, you're up first. This should be a fun segment. I like this. Good job, Luke, with the script writer on this one. I like this one.
Okay, my pick that I had to choose for this was the St. Peter's Cinderella run in 2022. I actually got like the lucky chance to go to the game, Sweet 16 in Philly. And there were so many New Jersey fans that came up, and I'm from New Jersey, so it was really cool to see like a small North Jersey team like do this well. They beat the number 2 seed Kentucky, and then they went on to beat Murray State, and then they went on again to beat Purdue. And like again, seeing that game in person, it did not seem like they were gonna win. But then at the end they like came through and they won. So it was just so cool to see the atmosphere and just see the upset in person. So I think that's why it's like a little personal for me because it was seeing it in live, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that St. Peter's team. I forget the guy's name with the mustache.
Doug.
Doug Eater.
Yeah,
Doug, yeah.
Dougie.
That dude was on fire.
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, that was a crazy year. That Kentucky team was so underwhelming.
Yeah.
Kentucky's always underwhelming.
Yeah, I
They
feel
lost
like
to that team in California too, Oakland.
Oakland.
Yeah.
Yeah, just an underwhelming team. Obviously, they have a new coach,
Overhyped,
but
just
yeah, that
Yeah,
was
they had a Wooden Award winner candidate in Oscar Tshiebwe, and he didn't perform this game.
Yeah, no. Doug took the show over in March Madness that year. But Owen, your pick for ours?
Yeah. My pick was RJ Hunter's game-winning three-pointer against Baylor in round of 64. It was the second round, and he brought the ball up and passed it and just chucked up a three. Insane, surreal moment. It was the coach for Georgia State was his father, and it was just a great moment for that family and that university. RJ Hunter actually only had 4 points entering the last 2:40 remaining, and then he went off, scored 12 of the last 13 points for the Georgia State Panthers, and it was just a special moment and one of my favorite moments when I'm watching those highlights of March Madness every single year.
Yeah, that one's for the books, definitely.
I think the dad being the coach like really sells it.
Yeah, I think we see that a lot in college basketball, which is awesome. It's awesome to see, obviously now Deion, but like,
Or maybe you see the dad and the son playing together.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they were actually down 12 in this game with 2:40 left, and then RJ Hunter just went crazy. They went on a 13-0 run. It was
I'm trying to think
magical.
who's on that Baylor team. They were very good. I'm blanking on that Baylor
Yeah,
team.
I'm not
that was
sure.
But Andy, your pick?
Bring this one more recent. I think one of the best buzzer beaters that we've ever seen. One that deserved to have a crowd in 2021 when there was no crowd. Jalen Suggs from like the parking lot, you could say, just goes straight in. And I remember this moment exactly. And like I said, I wish there was a crowd for this because he didn't really get the hype that he deserved there. But watching this live, it was fantastic. And since then, he hasn't been able to live up completely to that hype. I think he's still a very good player, but hopefully he can continue to improve throughout his career as well.
Yeah, this was. I remember I remember watching this with my dad, and this shot goes in, and I stood up, and I was just like, "Wow!"
I
And
had
that
nothing to say.
That was Johnny Juzang. I think Jaime Jaquez was on that team as well. Yeah, it's Jaime Jaquez right
I mean,
there.
it kept their undefeated season alive
That
up
team
to that
was-
point.
Did they go on to win it?
No, Baylor won it that year.
That was with Davion Mitchell.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
how.
and Jared Butler.
Jared, but yeah, that shot was awesome. It's still not. I think the Villanova shot was better. But
Yeah.
I'm not,
It's so sad. Nobody was like
They didn't get the
like.
yeah, it was a COVID. It
Yeah.
was never. You can see the coaches both wearing.
And I feel
that
like it
UCLA
kind of makes
fan.
it more forgotten too, because it's
Yeah.
like nobody like.
Jones Suggs, obviously, Wells was guy for the Magic. But all right, for my pick, arguably the greatest upset in college basketball history. Flash it up there. You know what it is. UMBC takes down number 1 Virginia. This Virginia team obviously has Ty Jerome, DeAndre Hunter, a lot of people. Actually, Virginia would go on to win it the next year in 2019. This game was 21-21 at half. UMBC comes out and scores 53 points, beats them 74-54. They shoot 50% from three. Unbelievable. The thing is, they lose the next round to Kansas State. It was the first time ever in college basketball history that the 16 team beats the 1 seed, and that was basically all it. But those kids will be remembered at that school for a lifetime and forever. That moment was just, I remember that's kind of what got me into madness. 2018,
Yeah,
I was young. That shot, 50% from three.
Yeah,
It was 21-21 at half.
It's one of the one moments where you remember where you were when number 16 upset number 1 Virginia.
That broke every single bracket,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's one guy that had it. Probably they beat them like they usually do. It was just
There's somebody from USC is UMBC.
yeah.
It's like hard to say.
I think they were like the Terriers or something. Like just a Terrier, like just an
Yeah.
out of like nowhere. I don't even know where they are. Really.
They're in Maryland. It's
Maryland?
a Maryland satellite
Like,
campus.
Just a hell of a team effort. Just
I mean,
Yeah.
that's not even that's a
Working.
University of Maryland, but it's literally their satellite.
Satellite.
That's like a Penn State satellite
like Penn State,
campus.
Harrisburg. beat you,
Yeah.
like
That's how but obviously none of them are.
Yeah,
like,
and obviously there's a
Division
lot
I,
of great moments. The Madness, I believe, conference championship play is next week when we're all on spring break, and then 2 weeks will be Selection Sunday. Hopefully, we do a show. But moving on back to NFL and like kind of the combine, since we're talking about the combine, Myles Garrett. Obviously, they've talked about him. He requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns. The Browns hold the number 2 pick. I need a team, and what like draft picks or players would really be optional for the Browns. Izzy, we'll start with you.
I don't. I think this is probably biased, but
Eagles.
I'm gonna have to go with the Eagles.
Heard it a lot.
We had a star-studded defense, but not all of them are free agents. We got Zach Bond, he might be leaving, and Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat's his position. So if Josh Sweat leaves, we don't have enough money to keep all these people. I mean, Howie, I have faith in him. I think he could keep a lot of them. But if we're gonna lose some of these people, I think picking up Garrett would be really good for us. It would having already with our good defense, having the 2023 defensive player of the year, like I wouldn't want to play against them.
One of the best edge
yeah.
rushers probably of all time. What do you think a deal would include? That's the
I
thing.
don't know.
I think it's 1 first-round pick and then another pick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think it's multiple first-round picks. I've seen that getting mocked in trades. I just don't
Just
see
one
it.
thing I've learned as an NFL fan, just let Howie Roseman get
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I'm not even an Eagles fan, but he would
Saquon,
get
like honestly, if we
he
get
gets
Abdul Carter in the
everyone.
draft, I wouldn't be surprised.
okay.
I wouldn't be surprised.
All right.
But I
We're
would
not
love to
gonna-
see Garrett and Jalen Carter play together. I
Yeah.
would love to see them line up together. I'm sure other teams would hate that, but I would love it.
Yeah,
So.
I'm sure. But Owen,
Mhm.
you got a place?
I have the Commanders. I know there's reports saying that Howie Roseman, if the Commanders are eyeing Myles Garrett, that he'll put a package together that's better. But I think the Commanders, they've shown to be the most aggressive team this offseason so far with the Deebo Samuel trade. And they need to take advantage of that QB window with Jaden Daniels on a rookie contract. So I think that's very important for them to do.
Yeah, I think that fills a need. They just, I believe, requested permission for Jonathan Allen to be moved. Deron Payne's in the middle, and then Isaac Newton from Syracuse came in 43rd or 46th pick, had a major impacted the Eagles game for a little. But Brandon, you got
I
a team?
think a team that hasn't been talked about enough to make one of the best pairings, if not the best, would be the Lions. You put Aiden Hutchinson and Myles Garrett together, a team that has a championship window right now. When you're in that window, you have to completely go for it and get your championship. The defense is already great, but when you can add a generational player like Myles Garrett, I think you completely have to go for that. And since you're a team that won a lot last year, you have a later pick in the first round. I think you're more likely to give it up than having that top 3 or top 5 pick.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumors. I've seen multiple mock drafts. Mike Green, Shamar Stewart, obviously guys that have been upped in the combine. They want them to go to the Lions, a lot of mock drafts. The question with me with the Lions is they're coordinators.
Yeah.
Let's see if Dan Campbell is really a good coach now.
Yeah.
And I love Dan Campbell. I really do. But Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson were also offensive and defensive masterminds. Obviously, bringing in Myles Garrett in that division would be a stud. For me, I said, I'm going to stick with the same division. I'm going to go Green Bay Packers. A little underwhelming team. I feel like they don't make the big move.
Yeah.
They just get guys and they play football. And obviously, they pay Jordan Love the most ever. But I feel like getting a defensive stud in that division with Jared Goff, obviously Vikings, we don't know. And then Caleb Williams in that Bears offense with now Ben Johnson. You're going to need a guy to rush a passer. Rashawn Gary's getting a little older. Kenny Clark's obviously getting a little older. They shipped off Preston Smith to the Steelers, who got cut after a year. They need someone who's going to wreak havoc. With Xavier McKinney and some of those guys on defense, that could be a really, really good defense, in my opinion.
Yeah, for me, like the Packers, they're a team that I feel like every offseason they have the same exact need and they don't fill it at all.
Well, obviously the Jair news, do they go corner in the draft? Do they go defensive? Obviously, I feel like for a Myles Garrett, they would have to go with their pick, which, again, I would be on the phone with the Browns trying to call. For me, honestly, if it's not a team, I do see a holdout happening. They said that everyone at the combine obviously is saying, like, oh, he's going to get traded. Everyone, obviously, you want Myles Garrett. I don't care what fan you are. You want Myles Garrett. Obviously, Eagles fan wants Myles Garrett. Like, This guy is one of the best defensive ends of all time, and he's 29, 30 maybe.
Yeah.
Like, you want this guy on your team any day of the week.
Right, but is he even going to be like he's saying so much that he's going to leave, but then you get reports from the people who are like managing the Browns, and they're like, yeah, no, he's not leaving.
That's what I'm
which
saying.
is like, what's going to happen? Is he going to leave or no? Because we got everybody saying like what teams they want him to leave, but he could like honestly be just staying there.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be disappointed about that because
Yeah.
I want him to be Eagles.
This one's a little interesting to me. I don't see him where he leaves, but then it's like, oh, the GM's like, oh, we want to train him, but
He just wants to win, so I think that's why he needs to go to the Eagles. To win.
yeah,
So.
I guess. But moving on to our last segment, a lot of sports. This is a frenzy show, so I want you guys to maybe like give some just important things going on in sports, where it could be big moments, small moments, players who aren't doing well, who are doing well, any sport. Just
I know you guys don't really keep up with hockey, but I don't
Not
know
much.
if you saw last night, like this breaks my heart. Every single one of the Hughes brothers got hurt.
I did not see that.
Jack Hughes collided into the board against the Vegas Golden Knights by Jack Eichel. I don't know how to say his last name, sorry. But he could be out for like the rest of the season. Luke Hughes, he was out for 20 minutes. And then Quinn has been like hurt. I don't know if you guys saw. He was supposed to come for the Four Nations draft. He was supposed to come in, but he had some injury. He was fine now. If we had him for the Four Nations draft, we would have won. I would die on that hill. He's really good at defense. He probably would have blocked McDavid, who was left wide on open.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
So long live everybody's hope for the Hughes Bowl in the Stanley Cup, because that's just not going to happen anymore. Because now it's just heartbreaking to me. They all like how does that happen? All three of them on the same night.
A contact sport, but it happens.
I know, but like all three of like that's like a family.
Yeah,
affair.
that is pretty crazy. I did not see that at
But
all.
Luke was the only one who's like fine, which is like.
Nah, he's not the good one.
like
Nah, it's
okay.
fine. But anyone else?
I have Penn State men's hockey. I want to highlight them.
Oh, yeah.
They have a Big Ten quarterfinal series against Michigan in Ann Arbor, and I think that's going to be great. The Wolverines, they had the Nittany Lions number this season. The Nittany Lions were 1-3 against them, and they allowed 27 goals through 4 games in their 2 series they played. But Penn State is on they've won 7 out of their last 8 games, and they've beaten teams like Minnesota and Michigan State, who are at the top of the rankings in college hockey. So I think that's going to be a great series, and it's going to be fun to watch. Yeah.
When a hockey team is hot, especially near playoffs, it's like you can't stop them.
Yeah,
Which
there's
is-
been some good hockey lately. I've been
Yeah.
kind of tuning. I watched that Penn State game. That was phenomenal.
I wasn't able to go to like the last like home games to Penn State. I went to the one where they lost. I'm like, I'm bad luck. I think I'm bad luck. I was like, are you guys? I didn't get to go to the one where they went into overtime against Minnesota, but they sweep number 1 Michigan State. They beat Minnesota, which was number 2, and they're Big Ten champions. Like they are on a roll right now. And then Aiden Fink, he's like a really large contender for the Hobie Award, which is basically the Heisman in college hockey.
Mhm.
So I think I agree with you. I think it's gonna be really fun to watch.
A
But I
fun
wish it
hockey.
was here.
Yeah, fun hockey lately.
This weekend we have UFC 313. We have Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev.
Should be fun.
Alex Pereira has been the biggest star in this sport, a sport that really needed a star after their guy, John Jones, was out for a few years trying to bulk up, other things outside of that, and he stepped up. This will be his 5th title defense and within the past year and a half, and he can go out there and tie a record with John Jones. Anytime you can tie a record with John Jones, that's always great. This is his toughest matchup yet. There's some other guys on this card too, Justin Gaethje in a rematch against Rafael Fiziev. Their first fight was fantastic. Also, we have Rufi, who's in the Fighting Nerds, which is one of the best camps right now. And a prospect that I'm hyped about is Joshua Van, who's been very, very active, and he's ranked 15th, and he's looking to continue his winning streak as well.
Yeah, really good card. Obviously, coming off a very underwhelming card.
Probably the
UFC.
worst card that we've seen in a
Seen
long,
in a
long
while with
time.
Strickland and Duplessis, but yeah, very fun card. Obviously, this
Yeah.
weekend we just had the undercard this weekend, which was there were some good fights.
Yeah, solid overall.
It's an undercard. It's
Yeah,
not,
it
it's
keeps
not gonna be
it's
the
a
best.
snack before we get to the main meal this
and-
weekend.
Yeah, because UFC 314, 315 are looking a little weak.
Yeah.
It's always fun when you can see Alex Pereira fight. His dude's just amazing. But
Yeah, he's so consistent. Like he's fighting over and over
Oh,
again.
yeah.
It's just insane.
and then the fighting there, oh my god,
Yeah.
those guys are awesome
The
to
best
watch.
gym
Best
in
gym,
the whole
yeah.
UFC right now.
Yeah, it's them and then probably Volk and Israel and them out in the
Yeah.
UK. But for me, I know this guy's obviously highly talked about. LeBron James. Can we talk about what his numbers are? 26.5 points per game, 55% field goal. He's shooting 43% clip at 3-pointer. He has 7.5 rebounds and 8.3 assists per game. If you match that up with his 2012 to 2013 MVP years, he's better in almost every stat. And he's 40 years old. Like, I love LeBron.
40 going on like 25.
Yeah, the dude is just playing at a phenomenal level. Now he has Luka. I know we're trailing back to the Lakers, but I mean, just at 40 years old, I could never see this happen in any sport, really.
He's almost close to 50,000.
He's 49,999.
He's one.
He
Oh
did
my God.
he did like a step back mid range. Everyone had their phones up, and then he missed.
Oh
last
my
night.
gosh.
So,
I like the picture. I think
who's
he hit
tomorrow?
another milestone, and it's him taking the shot, and it's like the whole entire back side of the court. But all you see is literally just everybody's phone.
That
And
was
nobody's
that
in the
was
moment.
when he passed
OKC,
when he passed Kareem. That was on Jalen Williams, I want to say, not the other
Yeah.
one. The only one not holding their phone was the Nike owner. I remember him. He was just sitting there laid back. But that's all we have for 360.
If you could spend spring break with any professional athlete, who would it be?
Oh, all right. Well,
Should we stick with LeBron?
yeah. I mean, we could. I mean, I want to hear. If we got time.
I'm gonna say Steph Curry. He's my favorite basketball player of all time. Obviously, he's on my Warriors team, and he just dropped 56. So there's a lot of questions like longevity, just like LeBron. How do you keep that up? How do you do? So it's just questions to ask him. Hanging out would be fun.
Maybe spring break's not up for him then.
Yeah.
Gotta stay healthy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change my answer. I'm gonna say Joel Embiid. I want to do a wellness check on him. I think he needs a wellness check because everybody in Philadelphia, including me, was hating on him. But he was just in pain. He wasn't faking. He was in pain. So I want to do a wellness check. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, not even going on the spring break topic. He is just. I don't even understand what's wrong
It's
with
just-
him.
it's
He's
so
so fun to
upsetting.
watch.
He's
just,
so good when he's healthy, but it's like, when is he healthy?
Listen, Phillies fan, you got the Eagles Super Bowl, and that's about it for the next
That
year.
was
Yeah,
a
but we
sacrifice.
never
That was
get
a
anything.
sacrifice. Well, you got the Eagles Super Bowl. That's enough.
No, it's not.
But Banning,
I'll stick with who I said before. I said John Jones. He knows how to party. Also, you don't have to worry about anything when you're with him. No one's going to run up on you when you're hanging out with John Jones as well.
that's true. For me, I said Gronk. I said if you want a fun party animal, you have Gronk. Obviously, dented the Super Bowl trophy. Kept throwing it to Tom Brady over the boats in Tampa, and when they won in 2020, just a phenomenal guy. Obviously, great commentator too. Super funny. I'd love to spring break. With
I would
him.
like to hear his thoughts on the talks about if he's better than Travis Kelce. I would like
he
to see
is.
what he would say. He
Yeah.
is 100%.
There was rumors he was going to come to Denver, and then he kind of squashed them, but that was kind of sad. But now wrapping up the show, I'm your host, Cameron Coulter. We got Banning, we got Owen, we got Izzy. Tune in tomorrow for hockey. I know we talked about hockey tomorrow, but spring break's in the air, and I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Thank you.